Hello. So I guess I'm gonna record these just as sort of I guess, a weird journal um, thing, I guess. But I wanted to talk about just artist stuff, I guess, and people stuff, because I'm a people and an artist. Um, but I especially felt like after a post that I made on DeviantArt mostly. Um, I guess it was a couple of weeks ago at this point that people were just kind of concerned. I guess some of them were concerned, some of them not, which depressed me even more. But it was about stuff like depression and anxiety and just sort of coping with that and not coping with it. Because I mean, that's my deal. Is well, part of my deal is sort of social anxiety, um, anxiety in general, stress. This is even stressing me out, making me very anxious. A lot of tightness in my chest, um, and just sort of depression, and sort of dealing with it, and sort of trying to understand it and deal with it because it affects, as an artist, it affects me, and it affects my creativity, and it affects my progression and success, honestly. And I know that it does the same for a lot of artists. So I just thought I would sort of talk about it and share my personal exploration and how I cope or deal with it, or how I combat it is maybe a better way of explaining that. But because I mean, mostly what I do, I mean, first and foremost, I do comics, which is, interestingly enough, a stress relief from what I originally wanted to do, which was animation, 2D animation, which was so anxiety inducing and so stressful that I had to pull back from it. And um, comics was maybe the next step down for me, so that I could relax and then go back to it when I feel more relaxed. My brain has to work so hard trying to come up with the story and make it good. I feel like, make it work. But, eh. Um, so I do a lot of things to sort of relieve stress that are not comics. That's the thing, and that's the thing. I feel like whatever is your primary artistic outlet, if you find yourself sort of being stressed out by it, being depressed by it as a result, finding yourself being anxiety riddled, trying to approach this particular project, then step back from it and work on something else, a different project altogether. I mean, that's like what I do. Like, I don't know, I sculpt sometimes. Like, I have this little sculpture. I do like little sculptures, stuff like that. We can't really see. Yeah, let's see if we can see there closer. Do stuff like that. A little bit of. Then I do stickers as sort of a stress relief. People always ask why I do these stickers by hand, because doing this and cutting them out is stress relief. This is calming. Sort of losing myself in that, just showing you. But the thing I probably do the most is watercolor. Like, I've been doing that for years. Like, this is really old. This one up here is from 2001. I mean, I do stuff like acrylic. I do like acrylics, but I don't really do that a lot. I just sort of do really abstract type stuff. But I do watercolors though. I mean, you can't really see that. Like big stuff like this. But and I just work on it a little bit here, a little bit there. But it's, I mean, and I say watercolor, but I guess technically it's gouache. But it's gouache. But I mean, gouache is basically watercolor. It's a little bit more expensive than your basic Crayola watercolor set, but it's still watercolor. One other thing that I do. And this is only recent. Puppets. Oh dear. But anyways, beyond that, I have to remember to sort of take care of myself physically, because stress relief is a multi-plane, sort of multi-tiered thing. And it took a while for me to figure out what was going on, why I was always so depressed. And it was just because I never really thought about it. The fact that I've been a vegan for 17 years this summer, which is interesting. I didn't realize. But that actually is an issue. And I didn't realize that it was an issue because, well, the issue is that I wasn't actually getting B12, and B12 is very necessary, and because it's something that we don't get, that we don't actually produce. No animals produce it. You have to get it from an external source, and I wasn't actively seeking out sources to have a sufficient amount of it, and so as a result, symptoms of deficiency, B12 deficiency, are depression and fatigue and memory loss. All things that I have suffered big time, in a bad way, and so I was just trying to figure out what was going on. I thought something far worse was going on, and no. What I did, I just started taking B12, and I felt better, felt more awake, more alert, more focused, and happier. Definitely happier. Not always, but most of the time. And then recently what I started doing was taking B50. It's a complex. Like, I found this one from the Vitamin Shop. This is theirs, veggie capsule stuff. But it makes me feel very warm at first, but it wakes me up real quick, and I do feel good. I feel happy. I haven't actually felt depressed in weeks now since I started taking the B complex, B50, because even with the B12, it wasn't enough, because you have to have multiple B vitamins. So yeah, that's what I was doing. So yeah, I decided to take the B complex so that I have multiple. But yeah, I did that. If you just find yourself stressed out and just anxiety riddled and just maybe even depressed over your work, over your art, then shift into a different direction, work on a different project. And when I say a different project, completely different art style, a completely different medium. You want something different, you switch the gears in your brain and do something else. It just helps when you sort of take on something different. I mean, it helps me. But yeah, I don't know what else to talk about, so I'll end this now. Thanks for watching.